All right, how many of you have thought about seeing the world or traveling or anything like that? For me, the place I always wanted to go is Japan. It's always been on top of my list. One of the things interesting about Japan, according to Funking Wall's new World Encyclopedia, Japan is less than 200 miles from the sea at any point. Less than 100 miles. The one point is like 200 miles from sea to sea, so you're close to the ocean everywhere in the entire island. So you get different kind of aspect compared to here where it's hours, you know, from any kind of ocean or anything like that, or beach area. Some history about Japan is one thing that they're known for is their samurai and their katanas and everything. According to Brian Brown's article, The Greatest Samurai Battle, today Japan is a stable democracy. It's pretty civilized and modern and everything now, but for many centuries it was a war-torn country. They had long civil wars, one after another, and one of the main things that came out of that is the samurai. Samurai used to be known as an insult in Japan because it meant you served someone, you were less than. But as time grew on and they became known as great warriors, they became more modern acknowledgement. And they always had their katanas with them. A katana is a single-edged long blade that's unique to Japan and is still to this day considered one of the greatest weapons ever forged. The Japanese blacksmiths would make it by folding the steel repeatedly and hardening it. So Japanese blades are actually stronger and lighter than most swords created in the world. Some places you definitely want to go to, that everyone goes to when they go to Japan, is Mount Fuji, which is a gorgeous mountain to look at and gorgeous scenery around it. There's also many temples and shrines that teach you all kinds of different areas of Japanese history and culture. There are temples and shrines throughout every city and out in the countryside, so you'll get different aspects of both if you go outside the cities and see different temples and everything. One issue people will come across is the language barrier. Now, with the language barrier, you know, people always wonder, are they going to understand me? Are they going to know what I'm talking about? In Japan, for the most part, yes, if you talk slowly. As long as you speak clearly and slow down the way you're talking, they'll generally understand you, because a lot of Japanese schools teach English. And that's the way they go about doing their things there. And the fact that, you know, majority of their income, because they're a small island nation, comes from tourism. So a lot of them know Russian, French, Spanish, and English. One thing I want to talk about is the food. There's all kinds of foods there. According to the book, and everything from anime to Zen in Japan, there's more culinary experiences you can have in Japan than anywhere else in the world. There's all kinds of fusions of all kinds of different flavors and foods that's unique to Japan and that they use everywhere else. If you don't want to venture out, you can get French crepes, you can get tacos, you can get hamburger, a great one. But it just depends on how far you want to go out and what you're comfortable with. Main thing people know is sushi and ramen. It's the main things everyone knows about. Sushi, even in America, there's many variations, different ways of, you know, going about the ways it's put together. If it's fried, unfried, you know, whatever. Main difference is ramen. When people think ramen in America, they think of the cheap top ramen blocks you get from Walmart, which is nowhere near what real ramen is. As you see in the photo, real ramen has bean sprouts, it's like, it's pork belly, I'm guessing, cut eggs and vegetables, and there's all kinds of different flavors in there that is almost indescribable compared to what you can get over the counter. There are many cultural differences between Japanese people and Americans, the way we do things. In America, you use your card for everything. You're always, you know, plastic for everything. In Japan, for the most part, you're still using cash and coins. And in their culture, it's really impolite to touch other people. So With them, when you go to a convenience store, they'll have a little tray there. And what you're supposed to do is go there, they tell you the amount, you put the money on the tray, they take it, give your change, put it back in the tray, put the tray in front of you. Then you take your change off the tray. Another big difference is tipping. Do not tip at all in Japan. It is extremely insulting to them. One, they feel you're evaluating their service and you're rating them. Another thing is you're insulting their employer and suggesting that they don't pay their employees enough. So if you leave money, they will literally follow you out the store and try to give it back to you, because to them it's an insult. Another thing is, Japan has some of the cleanest streets in the world. If you walk down most Japanese streets in the cities, you won't see trash cans everywhere like you do in LA or New York or Chicago, because to them you don't eat while you're walking. You only eat in front of a store, at a restaurant, or in your home. So if you go to a convenience store, there'll be a trash can directly outside of it. If you're really hungry, you eat there, throw it away, and then you go about your business. Or you keep the food in the bag, you go home, then you eat at home. Because they want to keep their streets clean, because in Japan there is no room for great landfills or things like that for all the garbage and stuff, and it's a really clean society, which is part of who they are. Overall, Japan is a very welcoming country. They base a lot of their economy on tourism, and they want people to come and see their country and visit, as long as you're respectful, like anywhere else. But they are really some of the kindest and most welcoming people out of most countries I've looked into in the world. But yeah, that's my presentation.